Hello everyone, welcome back to the second video under the topic linear equations in one variable. In our last class, we have studied the concept of linear equations in one variable and solved a few problems. In this video, I intend to solve word problems with increasing difficulties later on. So before we move on to the word problems, I want you all to read this quote.
The quote reads, "Learning mathematics is about looking at what you thought you understood and seeing that there is a deeper mystery there than you realized." It says that when you understand certain concept in mathematics, it's not over there. You need to think where it can be applied or what is the deeper mystery that's hidden in that.
So I would like you all to go through these steps which are required before solving the word problem. That is, the first step is read the problem carefully to know what is given in the problem and what we are supposed to find. Second step will be define the unknown quantity or the variables with any letter like X, A, B, C, D, Y, Z, like that. Third, frame the equation based on the given conditions. There will be several conditions given in the problem. You are supposed to frame the equation using the variables and the numbers based on the given condition. Fourth step will be solve the equation as we have studied in the last video and obtain the solution. Also, if possible, check whether the solution is correct or not to satisfy the given equation. Fifth, state the answer as a statement or a sentence. So the first problem for the day, the sum of three consecutive multiples of 7 is 777. Find the three numbers. So let us first understand what does this mean. Okay, we need to understand the problem first. Three consecutive multiples of 7. That means if I have multiples of 7, that is 7 ones are 7. Consecutive means next number will be 7 twos are 14 and third consecutive will be 7 threes are 21. So the three consecutive multiples in this case will be 7, 14 and 21. But here we don't know which are the three consecutive multiples. It can be 14, 21, 28 also, or maybe any number to any extent. There is no limit. So over here what we are going to find is what are the unknown multiples of it. Okay, so when I multiply 7 into 1, I get the first number. The next consecutive multiple will be 7 into 2. So 1 plus 1 gives me 2. So next multiple of 7 will be 7 into 2. Next consecutive multiple of 7 will be 7 into 2 plus 1, that is 3. 7 into 3. Like this, what we know is that it is a multiple of 7. So 7 will remain constant. Okay, 7 will remain constant over here. So my consecutive multiples of 7 can be assumed as 7x. 7 next multiple will be 7 into x plus 1 and next consecutive multiple will be 7 into x plus 2. Please try and understand this again. I know that we are talking about the three consecutive multiples of 7. So multiples of 7 when I speak of, so it will be 7 next multiple will be addition of x plus 1, 7x, 7 into x plus 1, and the next multiple will be 7 into x plus 2. This means that these are three consecutive multiples of 7. So this is the mathematical understanding of this statement. Now what is the other condition given? That sum of these. So we have the three numbers. So we'll start. Let the three consecutive numbers be 7x, 7 into x plus 1, 7 into x plus 2. So the second condition is the sum of these. Therefore, according to the given condition, sum of these 7x plus 7 into x plus 1 plus 7 into x plus 2. The sum of these is 777. So we have one variable, same variable throughout, degree is 1. Hence we have a linear equation in one variable, both the sides LHS and RHS, and we have to solve to find the unknown x. Moving ahead, 7x plus 7 into x plus 1 is 7x plus 7 ones are 7 plus 7x plus 7 twos are 14 is equal to 777. Always remember, keep the unknown terms on one side of the equal to sign and take the known numbers on the other, step by step. So left hand side we have 7x plus 7x plus 7x. We have 21x, and over here 7 plus 14 we have 21. Therefore we have this as my next step. My next task is to take this 21 on the other side, or I want to get rid of 21 from this side. So subtracting it from both the sides, we have 21x is equal to 777 minus 21. Okay. Next step will be 21x is equal to what will be the answer of 777 minus 21? It will be 756. Now this 21 is multiplied to x. I want to get rid of this known number from left hand side and bring it onto the right hand side. So I divide on both the sides. So 21 divided by 21 gives me only x, and 756 divided by 21 will give me 36. So we have found only x. Now my three numbers are, so the three numbers are 7x, 7x plus 1 and 7x plus 2, as we have assumed in the beginning. Okay, because we have assumed the condition over here, with that we are supposed to work on afterwards also. So 7, the first number will be 7 into 36. Second number will be 7 into 36 plus 1, that is 37, and the third number will be 7 into 38, because 36 plus 2 is 38. So I have the three numbers as 252, 259 and 266. So the statement will be the three consecutive numbers are 252, 259 and 266. So my next question is, we divide rupees 300 into two parts such that half of the first and the 1/3 of the second are equal. Find the difference of the two parts. So always remember, we are supposed to read the problem completely once before jumping to solve it. So here we have been given that we divide rupees 300 into two parts. So I divide 300, suppose this is my 300, I divide it into two parts. So what will be my two parts? Okay, so my first part, let the first part be x. Okay, so second part will be, because we are dealing with linear equations in one variable, I cannot use another variable for the second part, but we know that the total is 300. So the second part will be, if this is x, this remaining part will be 300 minus x, because this whole thing is 300. So if this part is x, this part will be 300 minus x. Second part is 300 minus x. Now this is the first condition. The second condition is such that half of the first, so half of the first and 1/3 of the second. 1/3 of the second, that is 1/3 into 300 minus x, are equal. So this is my second condition. So using this we are supposed to solve the linear equation, and we will be getting the solution as x. But as I said, read the whole problem before jumping onto solution, or even after completing the problem you are supposed to read the whole problem once. So find the difference of the two parts. So after finding both these parts, my question is not just finding the two parts, my question is find the difference of the two parts. Okay, so first we'll find the first part, that is x. The second part will be 300 minus x, and then the larger minus smaller will give me the difference between the two parts. So next step will be x upon 2 is equal to 300 minus x upon 3. Simplifying it further, we get x upon 2 is equal to, we separate this, so 300 upon 3 minus x upon 3. 300 upon 3 is nothing but 100. Now what is my next aim? To bring all the unknown on one side and the known on the other side. So x by 2, if I want to get rid of minus x by 3 on this side to this side, we'll have x by 2 plus x by 3, which is equal to 100. Now before working out with these fractions, I'll have to check whether the denominators are same or not. No, they are not same, 2 and 3. So we'll take the LCM, that is 6, and hence to make the denominator 6, I'll have to multiply this by 3. Multiply 2 by 3 to make the denominator 6. Same ways, if I want to make this 6, I'll have to multiply the denominator by and the numerator by 2, which gives me 100. Now 3x plus 2x upon 6. Now the denominators are 6. I don't mind adding them. So I have 5x by 6 is equal to 100. Keeping x on this side and taking all the known numbers on the other side. 6 is divided, so on the other side when it goes, it becomes multiplied. 5 is multiplied, it becomes divided. 5 ones are 5, 20s are 20 into 6 is 120. So my first number, the first part is 120. So can you guess what will be the second number? Obviously 300 minus 120, which is nothing but 180. So my first number is 120, second number is 180. The question asked to us is the difference. Find the difference of the two parts. That means 180 minus 120. So the difference is 60. 180 minus 120, that is 60. Hence you will write the difference of the two parts in the given sum will be rupees 60. With this we complete the second sum and move on to the third one. So in this question, the length of a rectangle is 14 centimeters more than its breadth and its perimeter is 180 centimeters. Find the area of the rectangle. So the length of a rectangle is 14 centimeters more than its breadth. So the first condition we are supposed to note down, that is, let one of the values, let the breadth be x. Let the breadth, we have been taking x for a long while now, so I'll take y. Let the breadth be y. So the length of the rectangle is 14 centimeters more than its breadth. So what will be the length? Length will be y plus 14. That means 14 centimeter more than its breadth, whatever the breadth is. So length will be y plus 14. So this is y plus 14 and this is my y. Now we know what is my breadth, what is my length. with an unknown variable. What is the next case given? The perimeter is 180 centimeter. Yes. So there we know the relation between perimeter, length and breadth. So how they are related? Perimeter of a rectangle is equal to twice length plus twice breadth. That means length plus breadth plus breadth. Okay. And find the area of the rectangle. We are not supposed to just find the length and breadth. We are supposed to find the area of the rectangle. And what is the formula for area of the rectangle? Length multiplied by breadth. So using these two relations that we have and the given condition, let's move ahead. So perimeter, I am writing all the given things in blue and will be solving with black. So these are the given things. Perimeter is 180 centimeter. Perimeter, what we know from the formula, is equal to 2 into length. What is length? Y plus 14 plus 2 into breadth. What is breadth? Breadth is y. Okay, so we simplify this. We have a linear equation. We will be simplifying it. So 180 is equal to 2y. 2 into y is 2y plus 2 into 14 is 28 plus 2y. So 2y plus 2y gives me 4y on my right hand side. This plus 28, I want to get rid of it and bring it on the other side. So 180 minus 28 gives me 152. So again the known term, that is 4, I have it over here on the right hand side. I will take it on the other side. So y is equal to, dividing both the sides by 4, I get 152 divided by 4. So eventually what do I get y as? Y is equal to 3s are and 8. So y is equal to 38. So my breadth is 38 centimeter and length will be, so breadth is 38 centimeters and my breadth is 38 plus 14, that is 52 centimeters. Now what else we are supposed to find? We are supposed to find the area. Okay, area is given by the formula length into breadth. Okay, so area is equal to 38 into 52, which is nothing but 1976 centimeter square, because 38 centimeter multiplied by 52 centimeter, the unit of area will be centimeter square. So 1976 centimeter square. Anything else remaining to be found out? Find the area is the last thing and we have found out. So this is the solution. Moving on to the fourth question for the day. When 8 is subtracted from 5 times a certain number, the result is 4 more than 4 times the number. Find the number. So let's break up this statement again into different parts to fetch certain details from the statement. When 8 is subtracted from, so my first part is when 8 is subtracted from what? So when 8 is subtracted from 5 times a certain number. Okay, so that means there is a certain number which is multiplied by 5 and from that 8 is subtracted. Okay, now the result is, that means it equals to 4 more than, okay, 4 more than 4 times the number. That means I take the same number multiplied by 4 and add 4 to it. So it looks like a riddle or a tongue twister, you may say, when you read it all together. When 8 is subtracted from 5 times a certain number, the result is 4 more than 4 times the number. Find the number. Okay, so you, as always, you need to analyze the different situations given in the problem and by breaking it up into pieces. So like this we have already done it, and let's start our solution. So we need to assume something, and what is the best thing that to assume in this? That is the certain number. This is common, and we are supposed to eventually find the number. So let the number be z. Now x we have taken, y we have taken. I'm taking it as z. Okay. So when 8 is subtracted from 5 times a certain number, that means when I do 5 times a certain number, 5z, and 8 is subtracted from it, and 5 times a certain number and 8 is subtracted from it, the result is, that means it is equal to 4 more than, that is plus 4 more than 4 times the number. So 4 times the number. So if you see, I'll just underline what is given in the statement form and what is given in the mathematical form. Okay, find the number. So let the number be z. So 8 subtracted from 5 times a certain number, 5z, the result will be, or is equal to 4 more than what? So 4 more than means plus 4, then 4 times the number. So this is my linear equation. You are supposed to solve it. Pause the video on your own. I give you 2 minutes. Solve it and let me know what the number is. This is the simplest sum that we are dealing with. Kindly pause the video and solve, and then you can compare the solution. Here is the solution, and you will write in the statement form the number is 12. So my next question is, the cost of a table and a chair together is rupees 1620. So the cost of one table, one chair is together 1620. If the table costs 16% more than the chair, obviously if the table is larger, it will require more amount of wood or plastic or whatever raw material, and hence it will be costing more than the chair. How much more? 16% more. Now here it is given in percentage. We don't have proper fixed value or number in which we can relate. So we have 16% more than the chair. Find the cost of each. So we are supposed to find the value of table as well as chair. How shall we move ahead? We'll have to assume the cost of one of them as unknown variable. Okay, so if suppose table's cost is 16% more than the chair, so let us assume the value of chair as C. So let the cost of chair be C. So the cost of table will be what? It is given that the cost of table will be not T. We have only one variable, so I can take variable only for the cost of chair or table. So since I have taken for chair already, I'll have to find the cost of table in the terms of this variable. It is given 16% more than the chair. So 16% of chair plus the value of chair. Getting it? 16% of chair plus the value of chair, because it is 16% of chair more than the chair. More than the chair means you will add it. That means, or you can write it like this also, cost of chair and how much more? 16% of the chair. 16% of the value of chair or the cost of chair. How shall we move ahead? There is one more given condition, that is the total cost of both table and chair is rupees 1620. Hence we can equate it like this. Cost of table is C plus 16% of chair. This is my cost of table plus cost of chair gives me 1620. I have an equation, I have left hand side, I have right hand side, I have one variable, and so eventually we have linear equation in one variable to solve and find the value of C first. From that we'll find the value of T, that is cost of chair and cost of table. So 16%, we need to simplify this. 16% means 16 upon 100 into C plus C. So C plus C will give me 2C equals 1620. Now both these terms have unknown variable, so I'll have to simplify them over here itself, and then I'll take the known numbers on the other side. Keep it as it is, 2C plus, when you simplify this, 16 upon 100 into C. What I can do is, so I want to get rid of this denominator first. I want to take it on the other side, but here this is one fraction with the denominator 100, this is one number with the denominator 1, so I cannot add them directly without having their denominator same. So having the denominator same means I'll have to take LCM of it, and to make here the denominator as 100, I'll have to multiply this by 100. So it will give me 200C upon 100 plus 16C upon 100. Now the denominators are same. So can I add these two? Yes. So my next equation will be 216C, and this 100 when merged is divided on this side, on the left hand side will be multiplied on the other side. So we have 216C is equal to 1620 multiplied by 200. In the next step, we'll take this 216 also on the other side. So here it is multiplied. To get rid of this 216, I'll have to divide both the sides by 216. So C, 216 by 216 will give me 1C. So C is equal to 1620 multiplied by 100, and since we have divided both the sides by 216, so we have this as my equation. So C is equal to, when I simplify this, I get the answer as 750. So this is the cost of my chair. So we have the cost of the chair as rupees 750, but now we are supposed to find the cost of table. But we know that the cost of table and chair together gives me 1620. So what will be the cost of table alone? So table's cost will be, this is known to me, 750. So 750 goes on the other side and becomes 1620 minus 750, and the answer is 870. So total cost minus chair's cost will give me table's cost. Hence the answer statement will be, the cost of the table is rupees 870 and the cost of a chair is rupees 750. With this we finish 5 word problems. Those were comparatively simple than the ones that we'll be solving in my next video. So keep practicing and improvise on your timings and accuracy of the calculations. I will see you in the next video. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.